Hi everyone, I'm Rita Peterson with Everything Homemade, and this is Ocean, my 7-year-old and my garden partner, aren't you? She is learning everything about gardening and has such an interest in it. So we are going to start our tomato plants this year. It is March the 29th today. Now you could have started your tomato plants, I would say anywhere from March 26th to the end of the month. So you have a nice window of grace there with that. So what do we need to start our tomato plants? We need seed, of course, at first.
Okay, so which one do we use?
Okay, we also need a container. Now this container here used to be about this tall. What I did was took an X-Acto knife, cut it down so it's shorter. You want between 1 inch to 2 inches high, and this is about 1 foot by about, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches. Okay, yeah. Here. These work awesome. So that's our container. We also have our label on our container, Scotia. We already know that it's a tomato plant, so we just call it the specific name, Scotia. We also have painter's tape. Now this one's almost gone, so we have a next roll, and we use this for labeling. We also use it to tape around our saran wrap. The saran wrap you can also put elastic on here or just tape. You can also use masking tape if you want. We have saran wrap, which is very, very critical. We also have our watering can and our dirt. Now the dirt here, we have added water to it so it is moist already. So we always have a bowl of dirt ready to go. So what's the first step, Ocean?
Putting dirt in.
Putting dirt in. So we need about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of dirt in this container. So she's going to work on that. As she's working on that, let's go over the seeds here. So I have some Scotia seeds here. Now, Scotia tomato is an awesome tomato. Scotia goes with Nova Scotia. They grow it all the time there. It handles heavy winds. I've had snow on these plants without them being killed. They are one of my favorite medium-sized tomato plant. So as she's doing that, I'm just going to open this. Now, I save my seeds year after year. So I like to put them in a container. And always do one variety at a time, because we're going to be doing Scotia tomatoes today. We're going to be doing Mountain Princess tomatoes today. We're also going to do farthest north, so there's a cherry tomato. So you don't want to get varieties messed up. That's not good. That's why we label. So always do one variety at a time, and then you don't have to worry about other seeds in your plants, especially since the first 60 plants that we're growing here in containers are pre-sold plants. So we need to be very sure that what we're planting is what is labeled.
Okay, so I've done that.
So let's go back to the container here. Alright, so what we're going to do after she's filled this, I like to press it down a little bit with the spoon. And I put my hand on it. Now I can feel the moisture, and you can see it that on my hand here. The other thing you can do is go into the bowl here, and you can squeeze. Now you can see some of the water come out, and that's perfect. But when I grab it, it's loose, but there is definitely moisture, and that's what you want. So now what Ocean's going to do is plant the tomatoes as I clean off my hand here. Now tomatoes, I like to do 3 across, about 1 inch spacing square. So she's going to put 3 across here, and then she will continue on. So just watch her plant there while I wash my hands. How are we doing, Ocean? Perfect, and she is doing an awesome job. So I like the inch because as you take your spoon, just keep going, Ocean. As you take your spoon, you can separate the plants quite nicely with a nice root ball to each one. You can just throw the seeds in, but because tomato seeds are a bigger seed already, they're really easy to grab, and it saves you time actually right now. That's fine, Ocean. Saves you time right now if you just take a little bit of care and space them apart instead of thinning them out. Seeds such as like celery that are really small, a lot of herb seeds are really tiny. It's easier to cascade them in, cover them with dirt, or sometimes you don't want to cover them with dirt, depends on the variety, and then thin it out later. But tomato seeds, pepper seeds are a beautiful example of how easy it is to separate them. How are we doing here? Good. Now, these are seeds that I saved, and I usually get close to 99% germination. Depends on the year. That's okay. And I'm going to keep, yeah, right there. I'm going to keep these two. You notice I have two here. I'm going to keep them two there. So if both of them germinate, it'll be a perfect example to show you how to separate two plants that are too close together and keep both. So we're actually going to just keep that there and not being picky. So we have some nice seeds here. Now what we need to do now?
Cover them.
Cover them. So what I like to do is cover them about 1/4 of an inch deep. So she's going to put some dirt on and then kind of press it down, and she's going to work her way all around the container. And you can see how easy it is to involve your children in doing this. Yep, so keep going throughout. That's enough dirt in that corner, so just keep working on it.
I'm just getting in here.
Yeah. Our next generation really needs to learn how to garden with all the GMO and food issues coming on. It is important for them to learn where the food comes from, how to grow it, and how wonderful the flavor is. And the harvest, I mean, harvest time, yes, is a lot of work, but hard work isn't bad for kids to do, and it really makes them a sense of satisfaction when they can eat that pepper on their plate and how delicious it is. So, okay, so Ocean will continue there, and then we're going to cover them. And so the other thing, while she's working on this, the reason too that I make the dirt wet is I skip the step of always having to water them after every step. This way the container just stays perfect, evenly moist, and I don't need any more extra water to it. It just eliminates several steps. Perfect. Oh, you're doing a superb job there, Ocean.
There.
Yeah. And then as she's pressing down, what she's doing is she's making the seed touch the soil, which the soil's wet, which will help germinate. Now, if your soil wasn't wet enough, I'm going to show you a little bit what you can do here. You can take your watering can and just lightly go over just to moisten it, and that's all I'll do here. And all done. So next step, we have it again. We have this labeled. I'm going to grab some saran wrap here. I'm going to pull the saran wrap and grab a piece.
I will put it on.
Ocean's going to hold aside because saran wrap is always fun to work with. And we're going to place it, and I grabbed a little bit too big of a piece, but anyway. And then we're going to take the tape, and she's going to tape around it. And that just holds that saran wrap in place.
There you go, that's for the side.
Yep.
On the side.
Okay. And I am going to give you a hand here, Munchkin.
There.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna get another.
Yeah. And grab right there.
Yeah, I was going to.
Yeah,
Right there. Will help getting this around.
Perfect. And then we'll get this side here. Okay, so are you done there, Ocean?
I'm just sticking this on.
Okay, so that looks really good. So you can see we have, and what we do, this saran wrap is really nice because it creates a greenhouse effect. So let's go and take it to the back entry. And as Orion is coming through with the camera, I'll show you the dirt here. We are using Sunshine mix number 4. I love this stuff. You can get it at Peavey Mart, Home Depot, Dunvegan Gardens in the Grandpa area. So we come back here, and you'll notice that if you watch the previous videos, this looks a whole lot different. We had to put up a structure to keep the cats out because the cats decided that my peppers taste good, so the peppers had to make a comeback, and it's just some protection here around my grow light. So then what we're going to do, we're going to move my peppers away because my peppers are going to get transplanted into containers soon here. And we're going to put all of the tomato containers. Now there will be about 8 or 9 of these containers. So I'm going to take the grow light, place it down so it's about 1 inch above my containers because the peppers won't be here anymore. And what I'll do is I'll show you what I'm going to do with my peppers at the same time. So my tomato plants are going to be something like this, and I'm going to take my grow light here, and I'm going to adjust it so it's nice and low, and get it somewhat even. Perfect. And I'm going to put my container just like that. You can even lower it some more. What happens is that the grow light heats the soil, which makes things germinate faster, which gives you even germination. You want to leave the grow light on again 24/7 until they germinate. Once they germinate, you take the plastic off, keep the grow light on for 3 or 4 days after they have all germinated. Then after 3 or 4 days, start going, give it photo period. Turn it off at night, turn it on during the day for at least a couple weeks, and you'll have beautiful tomato plants. So let's close this up. Okay, and then let's open this one. And so this one here is nice and bright, and this is where we're going to put the peppers now because they're big enough to move out of the grow light, and we're going to transplant them. You see they're nice leaves, so you can notice where the cat got to my pepper plant. No worries. The new leaves that are coming here are beautiful. They're nice and strong and healthy. And that's why we built this, my husband built this structure, so we wouldn't have any more damages. So that's how you do the tomato plants. I look forward, in a few weeks here, we'll show you how to transplant them, and we'll show you how to transplant those peppers actually within the next couple of days. Thank you so much. Comment, share this video, and happy gardening.